Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday, December 1st. This is Lesson 5, Rights and Responsibilities of Citizens. Today, we're going to analyze the concept of civic duty, the responsibilities of citizens, and the process to become a citizen. By the end of class, by the end of this video lesson, you should be able to describe the rights and responsibilities of citizens and explain how to become a citizen. Let's get started. So today is a little reading heavy, and so I'm going to read to you through this video. If you'd rather pause this and read for yourself on the screen, that's fine as well. So what is citizenship? What is a citizen? A citizen is a participating member of a community. It is not an accident that the term citizen sounds like city. The first citizens were participating members of the city-states of Greece with rights and responsibilities. Later, the Roman Empire expanded the notion of citizenship. The empire allowed people in conquered states to become full citizens. Surprisingly, the term citizenship was not defined in the original U.S. Constitution. It was not until 1868, with the passage of the 14th Amendment, that the requirements for American citizenship were stated in the Constitution. There are two paths to American citizenship: by birth or naturalization. The Bill of Rights and the 14th Amendment applied to all people living in the United States. They applied to permanent residents in this country and visitors as well as American citizens. However, there are some special rights that only U.S. citizens enjoy. These include the right to vote in elections and to participate in government by holding public office. Birthright citizenship. According to the Fourth Amendment, persons born in the United States or who have U.S. citizens as parents are citizens. Naturalization. The second way for individuals to become American citizens is through the process of naturalization. This is a legal process by which someone from another country is made into a U.S. citizen. To become a U.S. citizen today, an individual must meet the following requirements: be at least 18 years old and be a permanent resident of the United States, have lived lawfully in the United States for 5 years before filing an application, be a person of good moral character and have no serious criminal convictions, be able to read, write, speak, and understand simple words in English, understand the fundamentals of U.S. history and government, and be willing to swear allegiance to the principles of the U.S. Constitution. So, how does the citizenship process work? Would any information from our class help you in the naturalization process? Let's look and see what the naturalization process looks like.
When you arrive at the customer service waiting area, you will need to present your naturalization interview notice to the immigration officer at the customer service desk. The officer will then ask you to wait until your name is called.
Mr. Marcos Torres?
Yes, that's me.
I'm Officer Taylor. I'll be conducting your interview today.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. Follow me. Please come inside. Feel free to put your belongings next to your chair, but please remain standing. Before we begin the interview, I'll need to place you under oath. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you will give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please take a seat.
A large part of the naturalization interview involves reviewing the Form N-400 application for naturalization, asking you questions about the information you provided on the application, and reviewing the documents you submitted to support your application. When the officer reviews Form N-400 with you, the officer is also testing your ability to speak and understand the English language, one of the requirements for naturalization. If you do not understand something, you should ask the officer to repeat the question or explain the question using other words. Here is one example of the beginning of a naturalization interview.
What is your name?
Marcos Torres?
And have you used any other names?
No.
Do you want to legally change your name?
No.
I need to see your lawful permanent resident card, all of your passports, and state-issued identification, please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What is your date of birth?
November 8, 1970.
And where were you born?
San Pedro Sula, Honduras.
Are you a citizen of Honduras?
Yes.
Are either of your parents United States citizens?
No.
Are you currently single, married, divorced, or widowed?
I am single.
And where are you currently living?
3555 North Shore Boulevard in Bloomington.
Where are you working?
I work at the county library.
When was your last trip outside the United States?
Let's see. About 4 months ago, I went back to Honduras to visit family for about 2 weeks.
Do you remember that the day you returned to the United States?
The officer will continue to ask you questions from the Form N-400 to verify the information you've provided to determine your eligibility for naturalization. The officer may also ask you to provide additional information to the answers provided in the application. As a reminder, if you have a copy of your Form N-400, you may find it helpful to review it before your interview. For example, some of the questions that the officer might ask you may cover trips outside the United States, particularly any trips after the application was submitted, past marriages, memberships in any organizations, problems with the law, criminal history, and/or jail time, military service in the United States, and support of the U.S. Constitution and allegiance to the United States. Your answers to these and the other questions determine your eligibility for naturalization. Remember to bring supporting documents that can help you address any of these questions. You must always be honest in your responses, because lying to an immigration officer during the naturalization interview may make you ineligible for naturalization. At the end of the questions, the officer will ask you to sign a series of documents.
Next, I'll need you to sign your photographs.
Thank you.
Please sign them here and here. I'll need you to sign your application. Please sign here. And then print your name and sign here. Thank you. Please review this form. Let me know if it's correct.
It's correct.
Great, thank you. Okay, now we're going to move to the civics and reading and writing test.
In most cases, after reviewing the Form N-400, the officer will give you the remaining portions of the naturalization test: the U.S. History and Civics test, the English reading test, and the English writing test. In some USCIS offices, the naturalization test may be given before your interview by an immigration services officer. The officer may be the same one that performs your naturalization interview, or it may be a different officer. The U.S. History and Civics test has 10 questions. The history and civics questions will be asked orally and answered orally. You must get 6 out of the 10 questions correct to pass the history and civics test. Here is an example of an officer giving the U.S. History and Civics test to an applicant.
Okay, are you ready for your civics test?
Yes.
Who was the first president?
George Washington.
Correct. How many U.S. senators are there?
100.
Good. Where is the Statue of Liberty?
Can you repeat that?
Where is the Statue of Liberty?
In New York.
Correct. What is the capital of the United States?
Washington, D.C.
What is the name of the national anthem?
Star Spangled Banner.
Good. Name one problem that led to the Civil War.
I'm not sure.
When you
All right, so here your directions are to complete the graphic organizer notes shown describing the requirements for obtaining citizenship. Feel free to go back through the video and review the reading sections if you need to. You can rewind. Here for birthright citizen, define this, and then what are the requirements for obtaining birthright citizenship. The next one is naturalized citizenship, the definition of this, and then what are the requirements for that. Feel free to pause the video while you complete this activity. All right, moving on. So now we're going to look at the responsibilities of citizens. We've looked at how to become a citizen and where citizenship defined in the Constitution with the 14th Amendment. Now we're going to look at what do citizens have to do. So once you are either born in this country or you choose to obtain citizenship, what then is required of citizens here? Earlier in this chapter, you learned about some of the rights of citizenship. In this section, you will learn about its responsibilities. Citizenship involves more than mere membership in a community. In a democratic republic, it requires active participation in government. In a democracy, citizens must be involved in their communities. The responsibilities of citizenship include things we must do to obey the law and things responsible members of our communities do include obey the laws of your community, state and federal government, pay taxes to help support the costs of government, serve on jury if called upon to serve, attend school in order to receive an education, accept responsibility for one's personal behavior and support one's family, testify in court of law if called upon to present evidence, help to defend the nation by serving in the nation's armed forces if called upon. If we do not perform these legal obligations, we face punishment with fines or imprisonment. In addition to these duties of citizenship, there are certain additional active responsibilities, things that a good citizen should do. These responsibilities generally require both time and effort, but our democracy is based on the active participation of its citizens. We will not be fined or imprisoned for failing to carry out these responsibilities. However, our democracy relies on its citizens carrying them out most of the time. Performing these is part of civic virtue, doing what is right for our community. Participation in American democracy. Some examples of civic virtue include take an active interest in government by learning about its activities, stay informed on public issues, respect others' points of view, inform your elected representatives about issues and problems that concern you, vote in elections. Participate in government by joining a political party, working as an independent voter, or campaigning for public office. Serve in government if elected or appointed. Volunteer to serve in the nation's armed forces or to perform some other public service. Now go through, feel free to rewind the video so that you can see the information already covered and complete the rights of U.S. citizens and the responsibilities of U.S. citizens. What are some rights that we enjoy? What are these things that we have access to that we get to do that others don't? And then what are some responsibilities that we have to also complete in order to have strong democratic Republican communities? So, moving on, some questions to consider. How would you define our national identity? Is there anything in our DNA that makes America an exceptional nation? And what historical developments have led to our national identity as you see it? Let's read about citizenship rights and responsibilities and how they reflect our national identity. The rights and responsibilities of U.S. citizens are a reflection of our national identity. National identity describes what makes a nation what it is. It is the character of the nation. Our national identity consists of those special characteristics we share that make us Americans. Since 1776, our national identity has been shaped by many factors, including the mixing of peoples from any lands, exercise of religious freedom, freedom to enter any trade or occupation, traditions of individual rights, and a democratic system of government. In addition, our national identity includes a common culture and history. Unlike Europe, Americans had no hereditary noble class, although parts of America once had a hereditary system of slavery based on race. These aspects of our national identity have helped to define the rights and responsibilities of U.S. citizens. Because Americans established a democratic form of government, citizens were given the rights of free speech and free press. Democratic government also requires participation by its citizens to operate. American citizens have duties such as voting, keeping informed on public issues, and serving in public office. These requirements have this requirement has created a vibrant and lively public life. So let's review. We have citizenship. This is a participating member of a community. This is defined in the 14th Amendment. We have two different paths to American citizenship, either birthright citizenship. These are people who have been born in the United States or who have parents that are U.S. citizens. And we also have the naturalization process, in which any person from a foreign country is made into a U.S. citizen. Also, don't forget, responsibilities of U.S. citizens include obeying the laws, paying taxes, serving on juries, attending school, accepting responsibility for your behavior, testifying in court, and defending the nation by serving in the military. Active responsibilities of U.S. citizens include taking an interest in government by learning about its various activities, staying informed, respecting other people, informing your representatives about issues that concern you, voting in local, state, and national elections, participating in government by joining a political party or working in a campaign, and serving in government if elected or appointed to a position. So let's wrap it up now. Could you pass a naturalization test, a civics test based on history and civics to become a citizen? Even if you have are a natural born citizen, or you have birthright citizenship, or if you're interested in the naturalization process, see if you can pass the civics test by going to the following website on your screen, the short URL .at/ACTW. The civics test features 100 possible questions, and you're asked any 10. You must get at least 6 correct to pass. Good luck.